Clouds moving quickly. Thankfully, the rain moved on, and it is a beautiful St. Louis evening. We're at Busch Stadium. Second game of 4 between the Rockies and Cardinals. Jenny told you a few minutes back, the Rockies trying to snap a 6-game losing streak here in St. Louis. They're still 9 games north of 500, right on the heels of the Dodgers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Cardinals 2 games over 500. They made a couple of moves today we'll tell you about in a little while. There's Charlie Blackmon studying Jack Flaherty, the 22-year-old right-hander who will make the start tonight for St. Louis. Here's the Southwest batting order for Buddy Black. Ian Desmond will bat second. Then Nolan, he hit the grand slam yesterday, and you thought it was going to be a great finish for the Rockies. Cargo will bat cleanup. Trevor Story had yesterday off, save for a pinch hitting appearance late, just his second non-start of the season. Gerardo Parra, Ryan McMahon back in there at second base batting 7th. Tommy Murphy, 4th straight ball game with the gear on for Murph, and John Gray on the mound. Jack Flaherty's a tall right-hander in the mold of so many others with the Cardinals through the years.
It's pretty amazing. I don't know where they find him, but they do. This Jack Flaherty comes from Burbank, California, to a very good high school where he's drafted amongst other very good teammates, Lucas Giolito, Max Fried.
Isn't that something? They went to Harvard Westlake High School. They had 3 #1 picks on their pitching staff. Flaherty was the kid. He's 2 years younger than Giolito and Fried. It's an extraordinary story, it really is. And you go, oh, they won the state championship, CIF title. No, they didn't. They got eliminated in the 3rd round of the state playoffs in talent-rich Southern California. First pitch of the ball game is in there for strike 1 at 91 miles an hour.
What's pretty impressive about Flaherty is when you start looking at his numbers, 11 strikeouts per 9, which is extremely high. He's one of the best strikeout pitchers in baseball, the National League, over the last 2 months.
Well, he's got good secondary stuff, Spilly. You could see the bite on that curveball. It wasn't in the strike zone, but it was sharp. In fact, the league against his secondary stuff, they've struggled. 1 and 2, he docks the outside corner there at 94 miles an hour. His whiff percentage on his secondary stuff is 46.5%. That's 3rd best in baseball. That means he's getting a swing and a miss on almost half of his deliveries that are not fastballs. That was not a fastball, it was a slider, and Charlie saw it well. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Those secondary pitches, curveball 40% whiff rate, slider 48, the changeup 40%. That's a lot of weapons to have when you have a big fastball.
And that misses. Good eye from Charlie. We've said that countless times through the years. Busy week for the Rockies. They're playing 7 on the road. Full count pitch and a good swing on a mid-90s fastball. Charlie yesterday was 1 for 5 in the ball game. He singled and scored in the 5th inning on the grand slam by Nolan. He's had a big month of July, as have the Rockies. 16 and 6 in July. Today the final day. And this ball's in the air to Osuna in left. He's got it 1 out. Here's the first bank defensive alignment tonight for the Cardinals, and that young man's been back and forth between Memphis and St. Louis. He's looking at a little cheat sheet on where to play. The next hitter, Ian Desmond, but Tyler O'Neill's one of their top prospects. And Tommy Pham today was dealt to Tampa Bay. Tommy Pham, who was an MVP candidate last year, he struggled some this year. 12 years in the Cardinal organization, and he is now a Tampa Bay Ray. That caught some people by surprise. Desmond takes strike 1, so O'Neill figures to get a lot of playing time. And he's in there tonight on his call up in center field, flanked by Osuna and Dexter Fowler. We mentioned last night Tommy Pham not only didn't start, but when it looked like he'd be a likely candidate to pinch hit, he didn't pinch hit. Now we know why. 2 outs. The Hail Yeah big hit is brought to you by Mako, and for the Rockies yesterday, it came in the 5th inning. It was scoreless at the time, and Nolan, with the bases juiced, hit this ball out to dead center field. His 5th career grand slam. Unfortunately, the ninth didn't finish with those smiles for Colorado. That was one of those kick you in the gut losses. Up 4-0. Tyler Anderson rolling along, but it did not end well, unfortunately, for Colorado. You move on. The beauty of baseball.
That was a tough loss for the Rockies, especially here at Busch Stadium. This is a place the Rockies have not played well. They're 22. The Cardinals are 22-5 against the Rockies since 2010 here.
Well, tonight, great opportunity to turn those tables around and start a win streak. Here's the 1-1. Outside 2-1.
This is a tough week for the Rockies when you think about how well they've played here at Busch Stadium, and then going to Milwaukee, who very active in the trade deadline. They're playing extremely well. It's going to be a good challenge.
2 balls, 2 strikes. But Buddy likes that. Buddy is a guy that embraces challenges, and I think his roster embraces challenges. It's one of the things we've pointed out. It goes back to the last couple of years. The Rockies play their best against top flight competition. And that's all they've been playing of late. And folks, quite frankly, that's all they're going to play the rest of the year. I read the last couple of days, the Rockies, at least by win percentage right now, I believe will play the toughest schedule in Major League Baseball the rest of the way. 16 of their final 20 series are against teams currently above 500. And you know what? They're good with that. Bring a focus and an intensity every night. You have to. 3-2. Well, Flaherty with a good first inning. 1-2-3 for the Rockies. It'll be the Gray Wolf when we return. That is the universal catcher sign, by the way, that he's going to throw the next pitch to second base. 20th start for Big John. His last 2, as we mentioned, have been terrific. In fact, his last 3 starts at home, he's allowed a run, and that's it. And now he wants to tame Busch Stadium. This will be his 3rd career start at Busch. Last year he pitched here and he pitched decently. His first start here was probably the worst start of his career. He gave up 9 runs in 3 1/3. So he's looking for his first W here in St. Louis.
For me, it's keeping location down in the strike zone. It's something that Buddy's been preaching to him. It's the reason why he went down to the minor leagues, and it's also part of what is necessary for John's stuff to be more efficient. When his slider is down, when his fastball is down, he gets a lot of swing and misses.
Well, the first pitch of the ball game on the outside corner at 94, strike 1 on Matt Carpenter. Carpenter had the big hit last night. Rockies were up 4-2. There were 2 outs. Carpenter was behind Scott Oberg 1-2 in the 7th, and he lined a 2-run single to tie the ball game up. He would have 3 hits last night. He hit a changeup, and the book on Matt Carpenter is that is a pitch he struggles with. Well, plus changeup's a pitch a lot of guys struggle with, and I think if Scott were to do it again, especially ahead in the count in that situation, and this is where you learn, you want to get beat with your best stuff.
You want to get beat with your best stuff.
And for Scott, that's his 3rd pitch. Great fastball. Most of the time, a real good slider. But hindsight's always 20/20. Here's John ahead, 0-2, and this is in the air to deep right. Cargo is not going to have a play. On an 0-2 pitch, Carpenter has done it again. He'll be the leading candidate for Player of the Month in the National League in July. And he just hit his 26th 1-0 St. Louis. That was a misplaced 0-2 pitch.
Well, the frustrating part for John is that he shook off multiple times. This is what he wanted to throw. And there's just...
He may have wanted to throw that. He didn't want to throw it where he threw it, though.
No, he wanted to throw it. It looked like he threw straight through his slider's break. That was a flat, up and in slider.
And now Molina, and that's a foul ball. Look at this play by Nolan that won't count.
On the Subaru Supermo, we'll take a look at that pitch he just left up to Carpenter. Not the tight dot that you want on a slider. It stays right in the middle portion of the plate. We said it last night with Carpenter. With 2 strikes, he'll shorten up. And you almost do him a favor by throwing him off-speed pitches because he shortened up his swing. He can put the ball in play.
You've been in that situation when a guy makes a mistake and you're in a ditch, 0-2, 1-2, your eyes get really big. You say, what is this doing here?
Well, and because you're not taking a big swing, you're far more under control to put the barrel on the ball.
So you move on. Part of team baseball is part of individual baseball. He's now working ahead of Molina, who was 0 for 5 last night. 1 ball, 2 strikes. When you're not going good, that becomes a pop-up or a little fly ball to right. When you're locked in, it goes over the wall. And Matt Carpenter, make no mistake, has been locked in for a while. The Cardinals record 22 leadoff home runs for Carpenter.
It's amazing. That's 7 this season. That passes Luke Brock.
Pretty good player. 2-2. Well, we compared the 2 last night. Matt Carpenter is the Cardinals' Charlie Blackmon. And this ball is in the air to left, coming on is Parra. That was off the end of the bat. 1 out. Paul DeYoung's coming up. We might as well check the batting order tonight for their interim manager, Mike Schilt. It is presented by Southwest Airlines. DeYoung, the shortstop, then Marcelo Osuna, who's homered 3 straight, including the game winner last night in the 10th. Jed Jerko homered yesterday. Tyler O'Neill, 26 home runs down in AAA. Back in the big leagues, as we were discussing when they were out on defense. And it's Dexter Fowler and Greg Garcia getting a start tonight. At second base, this is going to die in the glove of Cargo. 2 outs. First bank gloves for the Rockies tonight. Story's back in there at shortstop. He's joined by Nolan on the left side. Ryan McMahon getting time at second base. Ian Desmond with him naturally. And it's Parra, Blackmon, Gonzalez in the outfield. And Tommy Murphy again, 4 straight days with the gear on for Tommy. He's really getting nice reviews with his catching. The staff likes to throw to him, and that's number 1. I mean, You never want behind closed doors the whispers, boy, I don't want to throw to that guy. That doesn't work. Osuna, a nice round of applause from the large Busch Stadium crowd because of his exploits last night. You know, Osuna hasn't had the kind of year they were hoping, but at home, Spilly, he's been really good. He's hit well over 300. In fact, he has the 7th best home batting average in the National League.
Very strange season for Ozuna. He's too good to have his numbers where they are.
Slider's not sharp right now. That's a strike, and you'll take it, but
now it's very flat. We're
yeah,
not seeing the bite.
a little better right at Nolan. So John settles in. He gets the next 3 hitters after the leadoff home run by Carpenter. 1-0 St. Louis. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. We're celebrating Matt Holliday today, and he's down in Grand Junction, continuing to work out in hopes that there's enough left in that big tank to perhaps help the Rockies. We'll see how it all plays out, but it's a good thing Matt found a weight room. Just felt him to be a guy that needed to work out a little bit more.
Yeah.
That pitch is in there for a strike on Cargo. If you need to move small buildings or whatever, you call Holliday.
Just knock him over for you.
Rockies went in order against Flaherty in the first. Cargo 1 for 5 last night. And he chases there. 0-2. Nobody in the Rockies lineup has faced 22-year-old Jack Flaherty, who came up late last year. This is his rookie year, though.
Well, the Cardinals have been protecting this arm. There's been several times throughout the season where his highest pitch count came early in the year at 120 pitches, and then they backed him off. And over the last 3 starts, it's only been 5 innings. It's been 15 innings total, but nothing more than 5 innings for him.
Which will put a little stress on that bullpen, because remember, Carlos Martinez was pitching a really good game last night and then tweaked his shoulder. There's Mike Maddox, their pitching coach. He's placed on the disabled list, and there's big questions whether he'll pitch again this year. 3-2. And so they had to eat up in the neighborhood of 5 innings last night. And then this young man, no matter how he pitches, as you alluded to, the chances of him working deep probably not part of the long-term plans just yet. 3-2 on Cargo. And another strikeout. He got Arenado and he got Cargo. He's not afraid to, behind in the count, use his secondary stuff. He did that to Nolan. He just did it to Cargo. I'll bring up Story. Fans join in on the conversation. Oh, excuse me. That's not the one we're reading here. Spilly, I'm reading the wrong one. We're reading if the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. Outside on Trev. He pinch hit and grounded to short in the 9th inning last night. This guy's got a classic delivery, doesn't he?
I asked Bud Black a couple days ago why more pitchers don't have the windup, the full windup where he goes over his head. And he says, I don't know. I think part of it has to do with how kids are taught, trying to make mechanics a little bit simpler.
I think Buddy's absolutely right. I think it has everything to do with simplifying the delivery, where you just turn, lift, stay over the rubber and drive it to the plate, as opposed to,
if you do it this way, though, you can create momentum, and that's what, there's deception, there's momentum, and there's a little bit better rhythm for the pitcher.
2-2.
That's what it looks like from the side. Just notice how it's basically starting, creating rhythm, the timing, a little simpler break of the hands.
And this is popped up in foul ground. Molina has a play, 2 outs. At least so far, the Rockies not getting comfortable hacks against Jack Flaherty. 2 outs. Now to bring up Gerardo Parra. You know, we were talking about him going to high school with Giolito and Max Fried. Fried now with Atlanta, Giolito with the White Sox. He was 2 years behind, so they had that unbelievable threesome for 1 season together. I told you they got eliminated in the 3rd round. When the 2 guys that graduated to pro ball, 1st round picks, this kid Flaherty is a junior. That's going to be a base hit for Parra. He led Harvard Westlake to the state title the next year, and at Dodger Stadium they won the championship game 1-0. He was on the mound and he delivered the hit that drove in the only run.
Just got to lose that dead weight with Fried and
yeah, I mean, we can't.
Giolito.
You know, could get it done with you guys. You guys go find another league to play in.
It's good to see Parra continue his hot hitting on the road, leading the Rockies hitters with over a 300 batting average. The Rockies have struggled on the road. We hear this every single year, the home road splits, but this year it's getting pretty significant. 50-point difference in batting average between Coors Field and being on the road. 232 as a group.
Here's McMahon. Parra takes off, and that was fouled off. Well, that says something right there, that on the scouting report,
slow.
They think Flaherty's rather deliberate to the plate. There's different times that each individual can run on. 1-3 is average, major league average, delivering the ball to the plate. You know, and if you're Trevor Story, you know, 128 right in there, you probably can still run on 130. If you're Parra, who's not as fast as Story, it's probably got to be more in the 135 range or so, 1-4. Two strikes on McMahon. Ryan had a hit last night on a 3-0 pitch in the 10th inning. 1 for 5 overall.
Careful with Yachty. Yadier just threw behind on Gerardo Parra as he was looking in. Go back to some of the home road split differences. The saving grace for the Rockies on the road has been, even though the batting average is lower, they've hit for power. 69 home runs, 67 at home, 69 on the road.
I think that's always going to be the case, and it's one of the things that you and I point out, Huey points out quite a bit, is that because of going from altitude to sea level so frequently, what it does to the body, and also the ball movement being different. And for that reason, doesn't mean the Rockies can't play winning baseball on the road. They have this year. They've been terrific, one of the better road baseball teams in the sport. Last year, they were 41-40 on the road. But I don't think you're going to see the Rockies, go and hit 265, 270 on the road. Have to be a little more opportunistic. 1-2.
Well, the threat of Gerardo Parra running and what the benefit is for Ryan McMahon is that it's forced Flaherty to throw fastballs. We've spoken about how he has 3 other off-speed pitches that he loves to throw, but in this sequence, and part of it too for Yadier Molina is he's noticing Ryan McMahon's swing. He wants to get a good feel for the young rookie. Can you handle velocity up and in?
Two and two.
So 5 straight fastballs for McMahon at this at bat.
And 3-2. McMahon was behind early. Now he's got a 3-2 count. Flaherty in 3-2 counts now. It's early in the game. Chicago threw him a breaking ball to strike him out. He did the same thing with Nolan to end the first inning. Carpenter naturally moves behind Parra at first. And he went off speed. You kind of take note of that. That's 3 times. 1-0 Cardinals on the Carpenter homer. again, hoping that he can provide the Rockies potentially a boost if all works out. 1-0, Jed Jerko at the plate. He homered last night. Tyler O'Neill, Dexter Fowler to follow. And Wolf will get a ground ball here to Story.
Pizza Ranch for the win. Pretty simple. It's going to come down to John Gray. Continue the touch of Gray. That's a Marino quote. For his favorite band, the Grateful Dead, has allowed 2 earned runs in his last 2 starts, 14 1/3. Obviously giving up a home run in the first inning, 0-2 slider to Matt Carpenter, but he's settled in nicely.
Tyler O'Neill's not a real big guy, about 5'11", 210, but he generates a lot of pop. 26 home runs in AAA this year, leading the Pacific Coast League.
He might have wanted that last fastball back in hindsight.
That's a great fastball there. That was down. He had been a tick off the plate, but called a strike by Joe West. 0-2 on O'Neill. Had good plane to it, didn't it, Spilly?
Really did. Kept it down. The slider has a little bit more bite.
There's Country Joe West, 40 years of Major League umpire. How about that? Nick Lentz at first, Mark Rippiger, Marty Foster, swung on and missed, and O'Neill's gone. First strikeout of the night for John. So Joe West is umpiring his 5,154th game tonight, which is 3rd on the all-time list of men in blue. What I can't believe, he's only done 3 All-Star games, 9 league championships, the Fall Classic 6 times. Here's Dexter. And Fowler bounces this slowly to McMahon, and he'll just get it there in time. Well done by Ryan McMahon. Not an easy play. Good inning for John Gray. We'll go to the 3rd. Rockies down a run. Murphy will lead it off. Matt Holliday with the 07 Rockies, the World Series Rockies, during the regular campaign, 158 games. He won the batting title. He had 36 home runs. And of course, he was the league championship MVP. And we go to Grand Junction right now, and Matt joins us. Matt, it's Drew and Spilly. How you been, man?
What's up, guys?
How are you? You look
doing good.
I was kidding Spilly a moment ago. I said, Matt obviously lost the directions to the weight room since we saw you last.
Yeah, it looks like you were stung by bees.
Yeah, what happened? You look
some pictures surfacing of my physique out there.
Yeah, they are. You look good. How do you feel most importantly?
I feel good. I feel good. It's been good to be down here and get back on the field and do baseball things, and so I've enjoyed it and being around with a bunch of good kids, and I've enjoyed that part of it as well.
You have your family with you in Grand Junction. I'm assuming Jackson and Ethan are probably taking batting practice, fielding ground balls, but I'm more curious for them watching the reaction of you being back in Colorado with around Rockies fans. What has been your family's reaction to being back in Colorado?
Well, it's been cool. The reception here has been great. I've signed a lot of autographs. There's been a lot of people, a lot of Rockies fans, obviously, in Grand Junction, and so, they've seen that, and they're excited. I think that, they'd love to see me get back to Denver and then play games for the Rockies. And so we'll, hope that happens. And but it's been great. The family's enjoyed it. We're on an adventure. Basically we just told them, let's go. We're going for an adventure, and we'll see what happens. So we've been here, and we've been to a couple fun parks, and the boys come with me to the field, and they've got lots of batting practice on the field. So Jackson hit a couple out of the park today, so that was exciting.
It's kind of funny. I was talking to Jake Opitz, who's the manager of Grand Junction, and he said he's looking, at you, and he's looking at Jackson and Ethan. And Jackson, I know, played varsity baseball this year as a freshman. And you have some kids on that team that you've gotten to meet and get to know the last couple of days, including Levine, who's doing great. He played varsity baseball this year in New Hampshire. And there you are, and there's Ethan and Jackson. It's kind of a funny story.
Yeah, it's crazy because, he's 18 or 19, and to think that, it's been 20 years since this has been my, sort of my situation. It's pretty crazy to think, and to have Jax here, and to think that they could have been on the same varsity baseball team this year is crazy. But they're really good kids, and it's been fun to be down here and watch them play. There's a lot of talent on this team, so that's been fun to watch. And the boys, they've been really good to the boys, and they're sitting in the dugout with me, and they got to take batting practice the last couple days on the field, and so they're getting treated like players.
Well, you're number 9 on the Rockies top 25 for a reason. So let's reflect for a second. We're showing highlights of 2007 and the batting title that you won, and just how important that season was to the organization. Reflecting on it, what does that time mean to you?
I think that the thing that stands out most is probably the relationship with the guys and the guys that we came up with, and being able to play with you and Garrett and Hopper and all the guys that we kind of came through the minor league system to be able to accomplish making it to the World Series with that group of guys, with your buddies, with your friends, with the guys you played in the minor leagues with, that you grew up with. Obviously, Todd was a little bit older than us, but Todd was kind of part of us and really treated us well when we were in minor league camp. And just the relationships with that team and just the way we pulled it together and all the fun we had. And, just the relationships you build through something like that is something that you have forever. So that year was particularly unbelievably special, but my time in Colorado, like I said, playing with my buddies and guys that I kind of grew up with was tremendous, and obviously I have an affection for the organization, and having spent 5 years in the minor leagues and 5 years in the major leagues with, and who gave me the opportunity to play in the major leagues. So that's something that I'll always will have as a fantastic memory.
I was talking to some people recently about that game 163, and I don't think anybody who lives in Denver or in that region will ever forget game 163. And when I'm asked about that bottom half of the inning, it's a blur to me. You were in the middle of it. Is it a blur to you, or do you remember it vividly?
No, it really is a blur, like how it happened so fast. And if I remember correctly, both of the bats in front of me were early swings in the count. And, we went from kind of being behind the 8 ball facing a Hall of Fame closer and Trevor Hoffman, and really kind of feeling like a little bit of the wind was out of our sail. It was so.
First pitch from John Gray to Greg Garcia in the bottom of the third inning is in there for strike one. Matt Holliday continues to join us from Grand Junction. If you hear some noise in the background, Grand Junction Rockies are underway. And learned during the commercial break, Matt's going to get to DH, get 2 or 3 at-bats tomorrow before heading on to Albuquerque. And Matt is our number 9 all-time Rocky, as you guys voted. And Matt, when you reflect back on your time with Colorado, and sometimes all good things have to come to an end, and then briefly in Oakland, and then here in St. Louis, and I guess it's ironic that the Rockies tonight are playing the Cardinals. Have you given yourself a moment, as this is lined right at Ian Desmond, to reflect on a career that you hope's not over, clearly, on what a journey it's been? Because it is 20 years in professional baseball. That's a remarkable achievement in itself.
I think there's times, particularly in the last 3 or 4 months, where you sit back and like you said, it was 1998 and this is 2018. To think that some days it doesn't feel like you feel like you're still a young player in the game, and then you look up and it just goes really fast, and those 20 years have gone by super fast. But it's I'm blessed to still be part of the game. I still love the game, obviously, and I love to play it. I love the camaraderie with the guys. I love to compete, and so you never want to have any regrets. That if you still have it in your heart to play and to try to keep playing, you never want to have regrets when you walk away from the game and on to something else. But I felt like this was a great opportunity to maybe contribute to a team that can get into the playoffs and potentially win a World Series. So. I'm excited. I feel refreshed. I feel like a kid, down here in the minor leagues, trying to earn my way back up to the major league, which is refreshing.
Matt, I know a lot of people have asked me today. They're saying, "Hey, realistically, what do you think he's going to look like?" And after watching video of your swing and knowing the type of shape you keep yourself in, I think there's impact available. And for you, how long do you think it's going to take to get that rhythm and timing? Because you've missed the spring training, you've missed quite a portion of the season.
It's hard to say, Billy. I'm in the same spot pitching today, and I felt pretty good. I saw the ball pretty well. It's one of those things where you got to get your eyes adjusted to the velocity, and then that allows your swing to kind of slow down a little bit to where you can kind of manipulate the barrel a lot better than when you're in a bit of a rush because the ball seems fast. So I think it's hard to predict. Obviously, I've never had a season or an off season where I haven't had a spring training and really have kind of just jumped into live pitching. So it's hard to say. I think obviously playing for so long, I've seen thousands and thousands of pitches in my career. So hopefully that's an advantage for me and it will allow me to get into a good rhythm and a good timing quicker and hopefully you can start getting the barrel on the ball and driving the ball in the gaps and feel like you can get out there and really contribute.
Hey, Matt, how much were you swinging? Obviously, we're kidding you. We know you're maniacal about taking care of the body, but how much were you swinging over the last several months?
I was swinging a lot leading up to potentially the spring training, and then I took a little bit of a break and just realizing that I wasn't going to go to spring training, and then kind of went down to about twice a week just with the kids, and 2 to 3 times a week, taking swings in the cage and just kind of making sure that if something did happen that I wasn't doing nothing. So I've been on it, and obviously with the kids, I'm throwing every day, throwing them batting practice, taking ground balls with them, and hitting balls and hitting fly balls. And so I constantly have a glove and a bat and a ball in my hand. But about when Jeff called me, you start taking a little more serious when you have something to work towards. The work intensity increases, and you start to really get after it.
Matt, we're so excited for you. We can't wait to see you play. We can't wait to hear how it goes for you tomorrow in Grand Junction and in Albuquerque.
Yeah, I think Spilly's words speak for a whole region, Matt. We wish you the best, and we hope to see you real soon. Congrats. Naturally with a home run. What a month he's had. Time for our Lowe's whole team together. The Rockies enjoying a marvelous month of July, 16-6, and this will go down either way with the outcome tonight as one of the top months in Rockies history. They want it to be 17-6 clearly, and the first pitch a slider, strike one on Ian Desmond. Desmond bounced to short his first time up. This guy has been perplexing for the Rockies, behind in the count, which he hasn't been many, but he has thrown pretty sharp slider or curveball. He has struck out 5 in 3 innings.
It's
2-1.
It's also the beauty of having a guy like Yadier Molina that has the wealth of knowledge, having played this game for so long and understanding how to pitch call.
I almost think it would be intimidating if you're a young pitcher or even a veteran pitcher and Yadi's behind the plate ultimately it's your game. But you don't want to, you feel like I can't shake him off, right? Yadier Molina. 3-2.
So we've seen 5 strikeouts. We've seen pretty much every 3-2 count he's gone off speed. Well, he's going fastball away.
Yeah, that's a first right there. And this is going to be Dexter in foul ground. So Desmond's retired, 1 out. How sharp Molina is. He wants to make sure no pattern continues. Changed it up. It's a first 3-2 fastball. Nolan struck out on a 3-2 breaking ball his first time up. Been a rough year after the first 2 weeks for the New York Mets, hasn't it, Spilly?
Oh my goodness.
They're losing in the 5th inning tonight, 19-0 to Washington. And if you missed it, Bryce Harper is still a Washington National, and Jacob deGrom is still a New York Met. Fastball for a strike. Raise your hand if you want to pitch tonight for New York.
Have they gotten position players yet?
I'll have to check.
I believe it's getting close to 40 position players used already this season.
Two and one.
Talking to Nolan today. He's describing what it felt like to face Jordan Hicks. I was curious what it looked like visually, facing somebody that throws 100 miles an hour. He said, you know what? It wasn't that bad.
This is deep short and an infield hit for Nolan. So the Rockies had their second base runner. Parra had a base hit up the middle with 2 outs in the second. And with 1 out, that'll bring up Cargo.
Infield single for Nolan last night. This was going to be a fantastic play for DeYoung if he could make it. Not enough arm strength, and Nolan getting out of the box, caught out in front. The off-speed pitch.
Just gives you even more appreciation, not to knock Paul DeYoung. He's a terrific player, but Trevor Story and his arm strength may have gotten him.
They have gotten him. But going back to Nolan facing Jordan Hicks, it's like 100 miles an hour really wasn't that bad. He was like, well, it's not easy.
Well, you heard Matt a moment ago, Holiday, saying that one of the things that has to take place is his eyes adjust again to velocity. He likes his swing right now. He's comfortable. He's been working out.
It's also facing 56 to 67 mile an hour.
He's facing BP.
BP.
Right. And that's what it is, in the mid to upper 50s. You're supposed to mash at 5 o'clock, right? 0-1 on Cargo. That first at bat, Spilly, when you're seeing somebody new, it's like you get a bachelor's degree, don't you? I mean, it's an accelerated
You're trying to
education.
you're trying to gather as much information, movement, arm slot.
Inside, 2-1.
Is there deception for a guy with a leg kick like Carlos Gonzalez? There's, all right, what is his rhythm? Is it slow? Well, he's a little slow to the home plate. It takes him about 1.35, 1.4. That's slow. So it's a different timing mechanism. And these are all bits of information that you gather as a hitter instantly. And for whatever reason, hitters can store it.
Cargo drives this ball down the left field line, and it goes foul into the seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Looking for an affordable way to entertain family, friends, clients, or employees? Ask about the Sunday Monday Super Suite Special. Tickets start at $100 per person and include a catering package. And I want to point out too, when hitters are gathering information, it's important to swing.
This is swung and ripped to right. He left that breaking ball up, and Nolan's going to go first to third. Well, remember, he struck out Cargo with a similar pitch, but he got it down toward the back foot. That time he left it up, and Cargo put the wood to it.
107 miles an hour off the bat. Almost took Nolan's head off at first. Nolan ducking, losing his helmet. I think he has quick reactions. Bit of a smile on Nolan's face as he rounded second. He got to third, looked at Stu Cole.
Now this is where the Rockies have been hurting, hitting with runners in scoring position the last week. You know, the Rockies are 4-2 their last 6 ball games. They have struggled in this regard. So important here for Trevor to get it in play. Rockies 9 for their last 54. With RISP, 167 average.
And if you think back to last night, the opportunities that were available to the Rockies to add on, several opportunities to just tack on. And even if you think back to Gerardo Parra, the ball off the backstop that Drew wants to see a pillow back there, so it.
And this is going to get it done. This is popped up right in front of the plate. Now to take a 2-out hit.
That's the frustrating part as hitters, and as good as Trevor's story is, that's a failed at bat. That's a failed team at bat, and it's just been too often this last stretch of 5 days. Now,
especially this kid's dealing right now.
This guy's carving.
Parra had the other hit for the Rockies, or excuse me, now it's one of the 3 hits because the Rockies have 2 in the inning, but Parra got the first with 2 outs in the second. 2 for 4 last night. First and third, 1-0 St. Louis.
Well, splits on Flaherty, looking at the numbers. For whatever reason, with 2 outs, hitters are hitting 260. It's the highest batting average they have against them with any number of outs in an inning.
One 0 on Gerardo.
Going back to hitting with runners in scoring position, having hit in those situations, I acknowledge pitchers aren't giving you any cookies. They're pitching with the intent to not allow you to hit the baseball.
Parra pulls this one foul.
There is a switch that pitchers go to in those high leverage situations. Nobody on base, you want to pitch to contact, try to get good, quick, efficient innings. Allow your defense to work. Runners in scoring position, first and third, 1 out. They're looking for the tough pitches. They're looking to tie you up, strike you out.
Here's the 2-1. And this is up the middle, and DeYoung's going to throw out Parra, and the Rockies fail to score. They had first and third, 1 out. Middle of 4, 1-0 St. Louis.
Pitching out of the stretch had been a struggle for John earlier in this season. Today I asked Buddy Black if him pitching out of the stretch in warm-up has helped, and he says no, it's just the pitches he's been throwing.
What's helped John pitch is that he's thrown the fastball down and he's thrown better sliders. That's what's helped John. And I think with John, I think he was putting a lot of pressure on himself, over the early part of the season. And I think it got to the point where we had to help him, take some of that pressure off him.
Thanks to UC Health Rock Your Routine, reporting out John Gray's recent success.
Well, that was well hit by Molina, but it was tracked down by Charlie Blackmon. So John has the first out in the 4th inning in front of Paul DeYoung coming up. I think too often in sports, we want to attribute it if somebody has success that there had to be a reason. For instance, about a month or so ago, Nolan was upset with how the club was playing, and he always points at himself first. And so I think a lot of people think, well, from that point forward, that was the galvanizing moment for the Rockies. And it's probably an oversimplification. The Rockies just started pitching better. And did that motivate? Yeah, but we're around this club every day. I don't think if you ask Charlie Blackmon or Trevor Story or Gerardo Parra or Carlos Gonzalez or Ian Desmond, hey, did that moment, was that a wake-up call? Heck no, they show up every single day with one singular intent, and that's to beat the other team that night.
I do think there was a wake-up call when John was sent to the minor leagues.
Maybe even more so than, the words Nolan said. It's not to dismiss what Nolan said, but, this club's been pretty focused. This has popped up. So, Buddy was saying to Taylor that, it's a small thing that he's doing, but it's more about his pitch execution and not necessarily the fine points of how he prepared to make pitch number 1 on a given evening.
Sure, but I'd still argue that whenever a player decides to, I guess, really focus in on their craft, really focus in on the aspects of your preparation prior to the game, making sure you maintain focus throughout the game. It allows you to have that finish for the pitches down in the strike zone.
Osuna on 2 hops to 3rd. Nolan will throw him out, and a strong inning for John Gray. John is rolling along. He gave up the home run to Carpenter. He's retired 12 straight since then. Get him some runs. The Rockies here in the 5th inning. McMahon, Murphy, and John Gray against Jack Flaherty from the San Fernando Valley.
Well, it's pretty amazing that this game has been decided so far by a hanging slider in the 1st inning to Matt Carpenter. 2 quick strikes and a shake-off to his 3rd pitch, and that's the only difference right now.
1-1. Rockies with 3 hits. The Cardinals that 1 hit that Spilly was just describing.
Well, both pitchers are commanding both sides of the plate. They're using their off-speed pitches efficiently, but I've been basically tallying both sides. Flaherty and Gray, a lot of first pitch strikes.
1-2. Been impressed with how Ryan McMahon's moved at second base, haven't you?
He's athletic. He's far more athletic than I think I gave him credit for being such a big body.
I think the Rockies have the 2 biggest second basemen in the history of the sport now, right? DJ getting closer, but he was funny today. It's been 10 days, so he could have come off the disabled list today. And he said he is getting really, really close. He's not coming off tonight. He's not coming off tomorrow. He said Thursday maybe. Then he said Friday maybe. Saturday maybe. So it's clearly not far away. DJ's been getting after it the last several days.
I know it would have been a more active day for him, but the rain prevented a little early batting practice on the field.
Working out with Gabe Bauer, the head strength and conditioning coach for the Rockies, but he was able to hit quite a bit underneath earlier this afternoon, and then kind of a normal group underneath the stadium.
And we know Chris Russell
first pitch.
And we know Chris Russell was supposed to throw in a live batting practice for DJ.
And that'll come tomorrow.
Comes tomorrow.
That did get pushed back a day. Good at bat going here for McMahon. Now he's got to win it. Leading off here in the 5th inning. And the Rockies have been able to at least elevate Flaherty's pitch count a little bit. You don't expect him to throw 95, 100 plus. On that last pitch was number 80.
Well, his trend has been all season. I've seen he'll throw 100 pitches, and then the next couple starts, he'll be 75 to 85 pitches. So 2 starts ago, he threw 110. If it follows the trend, it won't go more than 85 pitches tonight.
Rockies a nice opportunity in the 4th. A Nolan infield hit, Cargo a bullet to right, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. And there's another foul ball, but Story popped up in front of the plate. Parra grounded out to short to end the possibility of the Rockies crossing home plate. Ball 4. That's a tremendous at bat. 12 pitch at bat. And McMahon will get a nice greeting from Tony Diaz at first. It's the first time tonight the leadoff man's aboard for Colorado.
MLB.TV is now available at a lower price for $82.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer. Hey, you're not kidding. That was a great at bat. 12 pitches.
And now ball 1 to Murphy. Tommy struck out looking his first time up. High fly ball to left field. Murphy saw that well. He got the barrel on it, just worked underneath it. It's the first out of the inning. Now John Gray coming up in a sacrifice situation.
It's a homer pitch for Tom Murphy, and just missing that. There's going to be some frustration as he goes back to the dugout. You only get a handful of pitches sometimes where you can do your damage, and at that spot of the lineup, the 8th spot with the pitcher spot right behind you, trying to figure out, am I trying to move a base runner over? Am I trying to drive the baseball? When you miss that pitch.
That's pushed foul.
The Cardinals bullpen starting to loosen up. It's like a fitness facility.
One and one on Gray. Third pick in the draft out of the University of Oklahoma back in 2013 by the Rockies.
Some StatCast AI brought to you by AWS. Get a good look at how close Jed Jerko is to John Gray as he's showing bunt. Gray can handle the bat.
Trying to be a little too fine with it now. It's a 1-2 count. 1-0 St. Louis here. The Mets, Spillier mounting a comeback against Washington. It's 19-1.
It's a 3-possession game still.
You are correct. And that's called strike 3. So now they're 2 outs, and McMahon's still at first base. That'll bring up Blackman. Charlie, a fly ball to left and a strikeout. Charlie's got a 12-game hitting streak going. And that's in there for a strike. He's also 3 hits shy of 1,000 in his career. Charlie, a homegrown Rocky. There's 14 right now on the Rockies' 25-man roster, which is tied for second most in baseball. It'll be a draft and develop organization, a sign and develop organization. You hope to do what the Rockies have done. Get a lot of guys, a lot of talented guys to the big leagues. The Cardinals also with 14. The Mets have 16 right now. The significant difference is the Rockies and Cardinals are above 500, and the Mets are not. John Gray, homegrown. Guy at first, homegrown, and McMahon. Blackman obviously homegrown. Here's the 1-2. And this ball's well hit right center field. Get some legs. Gone. 2-run home run. And the Rockies take the lead. For Charlie, his 21st jack of the year. A line shot home run to extreme right center field. You said it earlier, the Rockies' batting average may not be all that pretty out on the road, but they've hit their homers.
That's 70 home runs now on the road for the Rockies, and for Charlie with 2 strikes, 4 home runs Flaherty's given up in the last 3 games in less than 15 innings. That's how you come through.
And I go back to the education one receives when you have no book on a guy other than watching some video. First time up, Charlie battled, fly ball left field. Next time up, battled, ends up striking out. This time he battles and he wins the battle by crunching one into the seats in right center field. So Matt Carpenter, a home run out of the leadoff spot. Charlie Blackmon with a man aboard, a home run out of the leadoff spot.
For me, this inning for the Rockies starts with a great at bat from Ryan McMahon. 12 pitches, making Flaherty work. We pointed out that Flaherty, right around this pitch count, is where the Cardinals start to have some concern.
2-2 on Desi. And he's able to strike out Ian. But the Rockies go out in front on Charlie's 2nd career home run at Busch Stadium. Great at bat by McMahon to begin the inning, and this was one tremendous swing. Blackmon, John Graves retired 12 in a row, and he begins this 5th inning with a curveball, ball 1 on Jed Jerko. Borderline pitch didn't go his direction. The bearded one with his 21st home run. That's in there, 1-1. John gave up a home run to Matt Carpenter. First batter he faced tonight. Since then, nada for the Cardinals. And it's not been, John piling up the strikeouts. He's pitched to contact. In fact, John has only 2 strikeouts this evening. But he has done a really good job of earning a lot of counts like this, 1-2. 1-2 to Jerko. And here's going to be an easy play to begin the 5th inning as Cargo makes the catch on Jerko, and that is 13 in a row set down. That'll bring up Tyler O'Neill. Hey, time for our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question. Go to AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. We'll share the results a little bit later on with Jenny and Huey on the postgame show. All right, which iconic man-made structure would you like to go to the top of? The Gateway Arch, Statue of Liberty, the Space Needle, or the Empire State Building? Choices. What do you have? I have been to the top of the Statue of Liberty. I've been to the top of the Empire State Building. don't think I've been to the Space Needle many times. I don't think I've been to the top there. I run past the Gateway Arch for 20 years, and I've never gone up.
I've gone into the arch. It's great.
So I'm going to say, because for me, I'm going to say the Gateway Arch, and I'm going to knock that off soon. In fact,
do it tomorrow. Put your money where your mouth is.
My middle son is going to be going to school, going to college here in the area. My wife and Zach were in St. Louis recently, and they went to the top. They said it was awesome.
It is awesome. It also moves quite a bit.
This is slowly hit. This is going to be a tough play, and safe at first is Tyler O'Neill. So that breaks the string of 13 in a row set down by John Gray, your old 45-foot hit.
Both hits tonight coming on 2 strikes. This one doesn't bother me one bit because he beat O'Neill. As good as Nolan is with the bare hand, just the way the swing was, how it allowed him to get that extra step. O'Neill runs pretty well. He's a center fielder by nature. You got to be careful with Dexter. Dexter, over the last 2 games that we've seen, has been very aggressive first pitch. And even with that low batting average, last year had a career high in home runs.
High ball 1 on Dexter. Hard to throw a pitch high to Dex. He's 6'6". O'Neill a threat to run at first. One ball, 1 strike. Looked like a pretty good pitch. 2 balls and a strike.
So far, Joe West's strike zone's very good, but he does not reward a pitcher for missing location, even if he may catch a corner. We saw that with Yadier Molina.
Off speed and a beauty. 2-2.
That could be the first changeup we've seen him throw in 3 starts. How about that for a call from Tom Murphy? Yeah, that's a changeup.
We talked to Mike Redmond today for a while, and he said, and Mike, you know, works with the catchers. He was a terrific catcher. He said he's really getting good with the digits, and what he meant is calling pitches. He doubled up on that. 3-2. See if O'Neill's running. He takes off, and that's ball 4. Well, you're in the 8th spot in the order. Greg Garcia is coming up. They're going to pinch hit, you would assume, for Jack Flaherty. Not because of the score, but because he's very close to 100 pitches. And we've told you throughout the broadcast that they're very protective of the 22-year-old's young right arm.
I was watching Tom Murphy having a little longer discussion with John Gray. I believe Tom wanted John to pick the first. Throw a pick on that 3-2 pitch. Instead, he came home. A little bit of a cross-up.
Jose Martinez is their big gun off the bench, and it looks like Mike Schultz is going to play that card here in the 5th inning. First, it's Greg Garcia. He lined to Desmond, his only plate appearance. And John works ahead.
Garcia's grounded into 4 double plays this season.
Ground ball to first. There's one on the first double play. Great. Oh, they said John was off the bag. John did everything right. He got to the bag in a hurry. The throw was perfect from Story, but according to Nick Lentz, he wasn't touching the bag with his spikes. We'll look again.
John was extremely animated because he got there early and he made sure. It looks like
I
he
think he kicked it with his toe.
Yeah, well, it was the double touch for him.
It was, but you know what? We'll look again. I thought he kicked it before Garcia crossed the bag. Ball and glove, kick of the bag. He's out.
Yeah.
That won't take long.
Nope. Well, there's the double play we asked for. Rocky's already running off the field.
They just saw it on the scoreboard. Yeah, this
is a walk-off.
This should take like 8 seconds in Midtown Manhattan.
Joe West is telling him, stay on the field. Hold on. Come on, Joe. Let's go.
And it's funny, the young players are sticking around. Some of the veterans are like, I'm going to the dugout.
Yeah, I'm not going to make Joe mad.
A 3-6-1 ends the mild threat. Rockies up 2-1, going to the 6th. Yeah, here Nolan, Jenny, pops out on the first pitch he gets from Jack Flaherty. I'm wondering if Flaherty's going to get another pitch because Cargo's coming up. Shreve, the left-hander who was just acquired, has been up. And he's embarking on 100 pitches. Yeah, high praise from Matt Holliday of Nolan Arenado. Cargo a bullet single to right in the 4th. Rockies at first and third with one out in the 4th and failed to score. And it looks like Flaherty will face Cargo. High ball 1. So if Flaherty's from Dublin, would he be Jacko Flaherty? Spilly?
Jacko Flaherty, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I can keep it going, but I'll try.
You'll try? Foul ball.
Not sure what part of Dublin, but I do know a great place for a pint.
He's not a wee lad. More than 2 meters high.
I'm laughing at the Twitter that just got popped.
Yeah, I'm sure. 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Who the heck joined us in the booth?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Seamus?
Seamus.
And Cargo staves off that. 3-1.
A little surprised to see Flaherty come out for the 6th inning, just given the track record that the Cardinals have protected this arm with.
And then I thought he'd just have Nolan, and they would move on. And they may move on right now. We'll see. Yep, looks that way. No, it's Mike Maddox first. So 1 out, 1 on. Cargo at first. Trevor's coming up.
Looking for a unique venue for your next private event? Coors Field is available year-round for special events, and most areas of the ballpark can be reserved. Go to Rockies.com/events for information. Season high for Flaherty in a game with pitches is 120. Did that May the 20th against the Philadelphia Phillies, where he struck out 13. At 13 strikeouts for that game was also a Cardinals rookie record, at least a tied one. And then he ended up tying himself later on in the season at Milwaukee, where he struck out 13 again through 7 innings. That time he went 110 pitches.
Gotten Trevor twice on pop-ups to Molina. How often does that happen? This ball is lined to deep left field, and Osuna can't make the catch. Cargo running the whole way around third. He's coming home. He'll score standing up on the double by Trevor Story. And it's 3-1 Colorado. And maybe Schilt wishes he had taken Flaherty out 2 hitters ago, because he's wandering out right now. The walk to Cargo and the bullet double off the bat of the Rockies all-star shortstop.
I just like the aggressive nature of the Rockies the last 2 innings. The fastball center cut. Ozuna gives good chase. It actually looked like he may have caught the baseball, but Carlos Gonzalez, just the sound of the bat, you could tell. Cargo read it off the sound. He trusted his instincts, and he was able to score standing up.
Good read, good instincts, as you described. And for Story, RBI number 69. The Rockies in the 6th with 1 out, leading 3-1. Pitching change for the Cardinals. Lines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Loopy's throwing out the first pitch tonight, or did throw out the first pitch. Larry Walker. Adam Wainwright with him. Gives you an idea how big Wainwright is, because we know how big Larry is. Walk, a great Rocky, and a fine Cardinal as well. He stopped by last night to say hello.
Scared me.
Yeah, he tried to bump our heads together there.
He had like bashes together.
Attack.
Yeah, it was great. Two knuckleheads just crushed the heads together.
Yeah, exactly. Jason Shreve is on, and his slider is in there for a strike on Gerardo Parra. He joined the active roster yesterday. He was acquired late Saturday night in a trade with the Yankees. So those numbers from New York this year for Shreve.
And I appreciate him post-game with the Yankees. He was emotional about leaving that team. Spent a lot of time with those players, his teammates. It's where he grew up. Yairo Munoz is now playing second base for the Cardinals. He comes out of the game in a double switch. Munoz, sorry.
Parra fouls this off. RBI out there for Gerardo. Did he go top of you there?
Did he smell his bat?
I think.
I've seen a lot more guys doing different things to their bat. Yasiel Puig treats his bat like it's an ice cream cone.
Rockies leading 3-1. And that is looped to left. It's
Stay
going to
fair.
drop. And here comes Story with the Rockies' fourth run. Parra heading to second. He's got a little bloop double. He'll take it all night long. 4-1 Rockies. And they're starting to get those clutch hits that have eluded them the last few days.
You know they're going to happen because the Rockies come in 6th in baseball with runners in scoring position with a .267 batting average. First you give your bat a kiss, and then you go inside out, drop it right inside the line for an RBI. You'll probably kiss it when you get back.
Exactly. So here's McMahon. Ryan had a great at-bat in the 5th inning. A 12-pitch at-bat. He was behind 0-2, and he eventually, after fouling off a number of pitches, worked out a walk. And then with 2 outs, Charlie hit that home run to right center. It'll get lost in the game summary and all the stories written about this game tonight, but it will not be lost on his teammates. It will not be lost on Dwayne Espy, Jeff Salazar, or Buddy Black.
It was a grinding at bat with 2 strikes. Keep fighting off pitches.
There's Sally's roommate, or excuse me, there's your roommate,
Yeah.
Sally, I should say. He still talks to you. That's amazing. How many minor league seasons together?
5. Now you want to know how good of a teammate and roommate I was. I have a bit of a snoring problem, so I would try to wait up as long as possible for him to fall asleep first. But there were many times that I'd wake up in a minor league hotel room with a whole pile of pillows on my side of the room from him throwing them at me.
There's so many ways I could go with that story. This is how good a guy Jeff Salazar is. After rooming with you for 5 years, and then the better part of a decade in therapy, he still considers you a close friend.
Yeah. I know. We're not allowed to sleep in the same room anymore, which I think has helped us remain friends because there's a good chance that he doesn't want to relive those minor league days. He sleeps a lot better now.
And what did you bring to the table?
Friendship. The boat that never sinks.
You're special. You're a special person. (3-2) on McMahon. And another walk. Good job by Ryan. Tom Murphy will come up with a little traffic. Nolan swung at the first pitch of the inning against Jack Flaherty and hit a fly ball to shallow left. And then it was a walk to Cargo. Trevor Story with the rocket double to left center. Gerardo Parra with that double down the left field line. Now a walk to McMahon. Murphy will hit in front of the giddy John Gray. John smiling ear to ear as he went to the batter's box, or went to the on-deck circle. He should be. He's pitched a great game, and now he's got a 3-run lead, hoping for more. One and one. Shreve big league time also with the Atlanta Braves.
Parra dancing around, trying to throw Shreve out of his rhythm. You can only imagine for a pitcher, first time in a new uniform, you want to show off to your teammates. It's probably a little added nerves for Shreve tonight.
One and two on Murph. Flaherty goes 5 1/3, by the way. 4 runs, 5 hits, a couple of walks. He struck out 7. Rockies finally got to him in the middle innings. He was strong early. And a foul tip held by Molina, 2 outs. So here comes John Gray. John's 0 for 2. Ground ball to second and a strikeout. One of the things that the Rockies starters have done, in addition to not giving up much the last month and a half, one of the reasons is they are getting ahead early. They are really being aggressive, which is just a big talking point for Buddy Black, Steve Foster, Darren Holmes all the time. And look at John tonight, low pitch count. Tyler Anderson, I know the 7th inning, kind of went a little haywire. All of a sudden, Tyler maybe lost his release point, but he went to the 7th inning last night. Tyler did with 72 pitches. John has a low pitch count tonight.
Just being efficient with their pitches. And talking to Tyler Anderson today just about that 7th inning, he said it's hard to put a finger on it, on exactly what happened. He just lost his feel, didn't know where the pitches were going to go.
And the strikeout of Gray ends the inning, but the Rockies add 2 to their total. They get a double by Trevor Story and then a double by Gerardo Parra for the Ribbies. 4-1, they lead.
guy right here, Adam Ottavino, what he remembers about number 5, because the two knew each other from their time at this organization, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, I think the thing that stands out the most is when he came to the Cardinals. The weights weren't heavy enough for him in the weight room, so he went and bought heavier weights for himself because he was too strong. And then he bought a whole bunch of TVs like to put everywhere in the spring training facility and kind of like updated it. And I was like, wow, like look at this guy. He's just throwing around his muscle a little bit, but it was cool. And he was a really good player.
Had to go buy bigger weights. Drew and Spilly talking about his physique earlier. That should not surprise either of you. Pretty funny stuff with that, but also really just build on Ottavino saying it was so fun being able to watch Matt Holliday in his prime. He's one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, great player, great work ethic, and at one point in time, Spilly, you'll remember this, you were playing, you were Matt's teammates. You know the box of rice where to test hand strength that was in most major league clubhouses, where you try to wiggle your hand down as far through the rice as you can. Matt had the all-time record and and then they test your hand strength another way. He had the strongest hand strength of any player in Major League Baseball.
That's right.
Here's Munoz, and he swings and misses. His first at bat, he's gone on 3 pitches.
Wow,
and
I love
for
that.
Gray, his 3rd strikeout tonight. 1 out in the 6th inning. That'll bring up Matt Carpenter.
I love the aggressive nature of John Gray tonight, coming after the Cardinals batters. And it's not just the strikeouts. He only has 3 on the night. But after the Rockies have scored runs for him, it's been a shutdown inning the next inning.
Carpenter, one of the 2 hits tonight. He was leading off the game. He was behind 0-2, and he got a hanging slider and he hit it out. That's ball 1. John came back and struck him out in the 3rd inning. I'll tell you a quick story about Matt Carpenter, and you'll find this remarkable. Matt Carpenter in A-ball, and the reason I'll say you'll find it remarkable is you were telling a story about your first year in pro ball, where the wood had not come in yet, the shipment of bats, right? And so you were using a bomb bat, and you got off to a tear your first handful of ball games after being drafted out of UCSB. And then you said, man, it was quite an adjustment to hit professional pitching with a wood bat. You know, you said you were breaking bats left and right. Matt Carpenter, as he lines this to McMahon, 2 outs. Matt Carpenter in A-ball went 292 plate appearances with the same bat, never broken.
Carpenter shared a story that if you find a picture of Matt Carpenter during his time at TCU, he will not look the same. He has put a lot of effort into trimming down his physique. He started dedicating himself to working out. And in one of the spring trainings years and years ago, he showed up to spring training before anybody. He was showing up at 3:30 in the morning to try to get his work in and to really kind of make a name for himself in a good way.
Right field toward the corner. Cargo, what a grab! He's got it. He's okay. End of inning. And he's handing out souvenirs. John Gray with the hat salute. That's 2 nights in a row that Cargo has made a couple of terrific defensive plays. Well, Matt Holliday, our number 9 all-time Colorado Rocky, and this is silver anniversary countdown year, and there he is scoring the most famous run in Rockies history. Tim McClellan gave the safe sign. Matty was shaken up, but the Rockies were moving on to the postseason. Rockies looking to finish this one off against the Cardinals. They're up 4-1. Charlie Blackmon, with the Rockies trailing 1-0 in the 5th inning, hit a 2-out, 2-run home run to right center, his 21st of the year. And now a lead off against Chasen Shreve in the top of the 7th. So with that home run, he also has a 13-game hitting streak. That matches Ian Desmond, who had his 13-game hitting streak snapped last night, and Trevor Story, who had a 13-game earlier, for the longest hitting streak for the Rockies this year. Want to know on Chuck. Got some numbers, Billy?
Yes, I do. On the Subaru StatCast, it was 103 miles an hour off the bat. Nice launch angle, 23 degrees. That's basically a line drive, 416 feet. At a time where Flaherty was virtually untouchable.
Well, it's also the 14th home run of the 21 that Charlie has hit that have come out on the road. That is tied for second most in the National League. Matt Carpenter has 16 road home runs, Paul Goldschmidt 16. And then it's Desi and Charlie, along with the Braves' Ozzie Albies, road home runs. It's called a strike. 2-2. Rockies on the road, 30-24 record. They have a great opportunity, Spilly, to exceed the win total on the road. That is a franchise best, 41. The Rockies, when you were involved in 09, went 41-40 on the road. Last year, the Rockies went 41-40 on the road. That's a high water mark. Obviously well ahead of that pace. Two-two, and this is going to be an easy play for DeYoung. That'll bring up Ian Desmond. Had a fan. Well, we're going to get a pitching change. I'll tell you a story about Desi when we come back, because he is not. Shreve is not going to face Desmond. Mike Schilt is going to come up and take the baseball. 4-1, the Rockies leading, 1 out in the 7th.
Mountain Mining. John Brebbia the change for Jason Shreve. Facing Ian Desmond and Nolan Arenado. Numbers for him, 36 and a third innings pitched. Well over a strikeout per inning at 40. A nice walk rate at 11.
So Ian Desmond steps in. Desi, a ground ball to short, a foul ball down the right field line, and a strikeout facing Brebbia. Swung on and missed on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Had some fans come up to me over the weekend, and really nice folks. We were chatting about a couple of things, and they're excited naturally, as everybody is, about where the Rockies are. That's a strike too. And they said they go to a lot of games, and their favorite player is Ian Desmond. And they said one of the reasons they notice every Sunday when the kids come out right before first pitch, the players sign, I think, baseball for them, and then they take in, you know, the ground ball, you know, infield right before, not infield, but you know what I mean, get ready for the first pitch. But Desi gets down on one knee, so he's right at eye level. Instead, there's nothing wrong with bending down, but every week, every Sunday, he gets down on one knee, so he's eye level with, you know, the small child in front of him. And it just gives you a little insight, and it did for these folks, as to, you know, what he's all about. Very thoughtful guy. 2-2. And a tremendous dad to his 3 little boys. 3-2. And a walk. And that'll bring up Arenado.
It's getting hot in here, don't you think, Drew?
Yeah.
That's Nelly. That's a rapper.
Yeah. What's Nelly doing here?
He's cheering on the Rockies. He's from St. Louis.
With the Cardinals hat on. I didn't know that. Is Nelly from St. Louis?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Oh, man.
Got good seats. Go figure, huh?
Nelly was
He's
big.
up 4-1.
Nelly was big for me and Jeff Salazar back in the day.
Back in the day. Before you'd fall asleep and snore and wake everybody up. Okay, see, now we're going to get this right. He's not from St. Louis. He lives in St. Louis. He was actually born in a great music town, Austin, Texas.
Yeah, he claims St. Louis as his home.
Jenny's getting mad. She loves Nelly, but she doesn't like that Nelly's now doing the wave. Jenny's going to fire off an angry tweet. Jack, we're trying. Nolan last night, a grand slam, 5th of his career. First time a Rockies ever hit a grand slam in St. Louis.
Just looking at some of the stats for Nelly. Sold 8.4 million copies of an album called Country Grammar back in 2000. 8.4 million.
That makes it platinum, right?
Won platinum 8 times.
And a strikeout of Nolan. So Brebbia gets a second out, and that'll bring up Cargo. No, Nelly, don't do the wave.
Do the wave, Nelly.
High school Jenny is crushed.
That's all right. He's got his Air Force Ones. You're still number 1, Nelly.
When the wave comes by and you're Nelly, you're world famous, you gotta, it's not a good look if he doesn't do it, right?
Oh. You'll be drinking your pimp juice and sitting down.
Can't do it. Cargo's been on twice, a single and a walk.
Get up, Nelly.
Spilly has completely forgotten that there's actually a baseball game going on.
There's always a story within the story.
That's right. And that's inside, 2-0. Last 19 games for Carlos Gonzalez, a .352 average, 14 extra base hits, 16 driven in. Another update from that Mets-Washington game. It's now a 4-possession game.
Come on.
Well, it's getting close. It's 25-1.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's 25-4 now. We get an update.
Oh yeah, Jose Reyes gave up 6 earned runs.
Well, there's your position player. (25-4). When it was 19, they had 21 hits. Are they close to 30 hits now? This ball's down the line. Stay fair. It's gone. It is a fair ball. 2-run home run. Carlos Gonzalez. And the Rockies extend their lead to 6-1. That was a rifle shot down the right field line. For Cargo, his 13th jack of the year.
Cargo with his apple bottom jeans and boots with the fur. Watch him walk it out. Hanging curveball. Go Griffey on us. That's nice. It's a line drive shot. A little body English to keep it fair.
Five-run Rockies lead. That's now 18 RBIs in the last 19 games for Cargo. This could be a really big week for Cargo because, you know, the Rockies have seen so many left-handers of late, and this week it's primarily going to be right-handers. This has a chance to drop, and it will. Boy, DeYoung went out a long way. You'd hope that Osuna, former center fielder, could get there, but it's going to drop, and a hit for Story. You'll take it.
Yeah, you'll take this. Ozuna with the bad read. It looks like he's just not running quite right. It's a long distance for DeYoung to try to field a fly ball. That was strange.
Here's Gerardo. He'll get another opportunity to field the fly ball here. This one a little easier, and he makes the catch. The Rockies get 2 more in the 7th inning. A 2-run shot by Carlos Gonzalez, RBIs 46 and 47. Colorado leading 6-1 in St. Louis. Nelly loves it. Hitter so far. After a home run by Matt Carpenter in the bottom of the 1st inning, he has allowed 1 infield hit that went about 40 feet and a walk to Dexter Fowler. That's it. Paul DeYoung, the former Illinois State academic All-American at the plate. And that misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1 to DeYoung, and that's fouled off. John Gray just moved into 8th place on the Rockies' all-time strikeout list, ahead of Tito, Brian Fuentes. Adam Ottavino just moved into the top 10 recently, past character Curtis Liskanek. Character, but a heck of a pitcher. And the Rockies, as John gets another strikeout, probably won't see Yoeli Chacin. He's scheduled, I think, to go Thursday from Milwaukee. The Rockies, after they play Thursday here in St. Louis, will head to Wisconsin. Chacin is having a fine year for the Brewers.
He's found
good,
his
and
slider.
good for Yoeli.
Yeah, he's found his slider. He found it with San Diego 2 years ago for the Padres.
Resurrected his career.
He really did.
Marcelo Ozuna twice has hit it on the ground to Nolan. You know, we were kidding Ozuna last night. We weren't kidding him, but you know, he and Parra were going back and forth because Parra had taken a couple of hits away from Ozuna. And unfortunately for the Rockies, Ozuna ended up having the last laugh on the evening. That fastball against Jake McGee and hit it out to center field to walk off the Rockies. 8 walk-off wins for the Cardinals this year, tied for the major league lead with San Francisco. 7 times it's come on a home run. Fargo, 2 outs.
Fans buy a Rockies ticket plan to guarantee a chance at the 2018 postseason tickets. Plans start at just $10. or 10 games.
We were remarking last night, Tyler Anderson brought a low pitch count to the 7th inning, just 72 pitches, and then missed on some close pitches, and then it kind of just went away for him, and he walked the first 3, and we know what happened after that. As low as that pitch count was, John Gray even fewer bullets so far through 6 2/3. His next pitch will be just the 75th tonight. Good slider, 1-1. Swung through by Jerko. Ground ball to short for Jed Jerko tonight, and a ball in the air to Cargo. And that is a nasty breaking ball. More of a curveball there from Big John. Bill, you said it earlier. You were talking about the comments Nolan made and how well the team has played, you know, since then. Did that have anything to do with it? You know, who knows? I know, again, being around this club every day, they are really driven. They really believe in themselves. They think they have championship stuff. But it was a wake-up call for John Gray when he got sent to Albuquerque. And look how he's performed since he's come back. That's fair. No, called foul. I thought it may have gone over the bag. So Jerko will have to come back.
And I think with John, the results have been fantastic. You're going to have a hiccup every now and then. It's the major leagues. Teams are going to get you. You're going to make a mistake, and that's okay. It's how you rebound, and the way that he's gone to prepare himself, to put himself in these type of positions where he's more efficient, trusting defense, aggressive.
That was aggressive, and here comes Story staying low and firing it across. 1, 2, 3 again for John. Boy, has he been outstanding. 6-1 Colorado. Be Ryan McMahon leading it off in the top of the 8th inning. Rockies looking to move 10 games north of 500 once again. Dante Bichette next week. That'll be good.
That's a good name.
Tyler Webb is a new pitcher for St. Louis. It'll be his 6th appearance. A Padre earlier in the year.
Another tall pitcher in the organization for the Cardinals. Just looking through their roster, Adam Wainwright, although he's on disabled list, 6'7". Michael Walker, disabled list, 6'5". Alex Reyes, who went on the DL, 6'4". Comebacker from McMahon. Tyler Webb is 6'5". Dakota Hudson we saw last night, 6'5". Think they go for a blueprint with the type of pitcher? They like height to create downward angle.
It's not a coincidence. I mean, when they are scouting, they clearly have a vision in mind of what they like, especially their right-handers, to look like.
You think Chris Carpenter, you think Adam Wainwright, you think Michael Walker right there on the right. Jack Flaherty tonight through, he's 6'4".
How good was Carpenter?
He was filthy.
You got to face him.
Wasn't fun. And he would bark. I mean, not like a dog. He would bark at the umpire. He would bark at everybody. Carpenter was a gamer.
Murphy fouls that one off.
Well, out of that group, and as we continue to show Adam Wainwright, probably one of the bigger pranksters in baseball. And his former teammate, Skip Schumacher, I think I've shared this story, San Diego Padres first base coach, also went to UCSB. Well, Skip Schumacher and them, when they were teammates, he would always order room service for him. You know how you have those little menus you can put outside the door?
Sure.
Well, Skip and Adam would always hang out at night after a game, play video games, and Skip would steal the menu and fill it out and send it to him in the morning. So he'd get a knock at 6 a.m. and it'd be everything you could imagine. A smorgasbord. And so they reunited this year in San Diego. Skip hung out with him in his hotel room, ordered everything on the menu, and then went on his way. So Wainwright, to repay him, when the Padres came here to St. Louis and Skip was on the field, he took his white polo and his pants on a getaway day, and Wainwright put his name as a jersey on his clothes, on his walking out clothes, including Wainwright's name and number on his pant bottoms.
Is that right? You got it back. That was creative. 3-2 on Tom Murphy. Tom looking for his first knock tonight. Yadier Molina in foul ground. 2 outs as John Gray comes up. It is appropriate that we check the Kubota pitching performance. John's still going strong, man. 7 innings, a run on 2 hits, and just 79 pitches to work his way through 7 innings. A Kubota pitching performance tonight. Strike 1 on John. And on 3 pitches, Gray strikes out. Now focus on what he does best. Throwing up zeros against the other side. 6-1 Colorado. then they got the big swing from Charlie Blackmon. 2-1, the Rockies took the lead. Cargo scores on a double by Trevor Story. And then this double looped to left field by Parra, drove in Story, then Cargo with a 114-mile-an-hour bullet off the bat for a 2-run home run. And the Rockies enjoying a 6-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Taylor McGregor. Good folks in the trunk tonight, led by our producer, Tavis Strand. John Gray has allowed a home run to the first man he faced tonight, and after that, just 2 base runners. They came back-to-back with 1 out in the 5th. An infield hit to Tyler O'Neill, a 3-2 pitch walk to Dexter Fowler. O'Neill's at the plate right now. He's called back to the big leagues for the 5th time this year. You know, he's really put together. You can tell he's stout, but he ain't nothing compared to his old man. His dad was a national champion bodybuilder in Canada. And that's going to get through for a base hit.
O'Neill puts the ball in play, squares it up hard on the ground, and just sneaks past Trevor. So O'Neill's dad was a bodybuilder. How big was he? Talking like 250 pounds?
I don't have the dimensions. I don't have the particulars. But I'm guessing big enough that he's national champion. Here's Dexter. Down low.
I don't think I have the genetics to become a bodybuilder. I think part of that is genetics, right? Like how your body can gain in size. Because I used to throw some weight around and it didn't look like I did much.
I do think you have to have, unless you see your pharmacist, I do think you have to have certain genetics.
Right.
And then work your tail off naturally.
Yeah.
Kind of live in the weight room. 2-0 on Fowler. 3-0. See if John can regather himself here. The pitch count is in a neighborhood where he could almost do the unthinkable and be a candidate to throw a complete game. Well, now there's 2 on and nobody out. Yesterday was the 7th inning that all of a sudden got away from Tyler Anderson. Here there was a base hit. Now Fowler walks on 4 pitches. And Jose Martinez is going to be the pinch hitter. Song Wan-Oh is getting loose. Very good last night in his 2nd appearance in a Rockies uniform, and his first against his former club, the Cardinals. Tuesday of last week was naturally his final appearance in a Blue Jays uniform. That's 5 straight out of the strike zone.
You don't want to see the same thing that happened last night. This is where I want to see John just take a step, take a deep breath, and throw strikes. 5-run lead. Was cruising.
Sliders in there. And like last night's, Billy, we talked about it. Very unusual. You know, you're talking about the middle of the summer here in St. Louis. It is really pleasant. Low humidity by Midwestern standards. The temperatures, you know, it was low 80s today. It's in the 70s right now. Range should be pretty good. That fastball had a lot of zip on it. Good finish, 95, 1-2. I think sometimes we overlook one aspect of when a pitcher's working late into the evening, as Tyler did yesterday, John tonight. We always say, you know, leg fatigue, arm fatigue. Sometimes it's mental fatigue.
Yep.
And you lose your focus a little bit. 1-2, and he gets a strikeout. So he's regained the focus. That is strikeout number 5 tonight for the Gray Wolf.
This is what I'm talking about. After throwing that ball, leading off to Martinez, he clamped down. Really dug deep and started to just get that laser-like focus back.
That was impressive, and I go back to the first batter of the game. He's ahead of Matt Carpenter 0-2, and he hangs a slider. Bad pitch. And Carpenter does what he's done with every mistake he's seen the last month and a half. He hit it out of the ballpark, right? And John, we've seen before with that could be a harbinger of bad things to come. Instead, he retired the next 13. And he also historically, you know, it's only 2 ball games. One was okay, but his first ball game here was a real tough night for John. It came a couple of years ago. And so there were elements that, you know, could have gotten into his head and derailed him. And instead, John bellied up to the bar and said, not tonight.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I know his teammates appreciate the optics. He still has some outs to go. But so far, seeing this version of him and his ability to harness his focus.
Munoz, second at bat, and that's a base hit. Parra getting to the baseball quickly. They'll hold O'Neill at third, and the bases are loaded for, guess who? Matt Carpenter. This is the one opportunity the Cardinals have to get in this baseball game, or get back into this baseball game, down by 5.
Gray made Munoz look bad on a curveball earlier in the game, and this one just stays out where he beats him to the spot. Let's see what Bud decides to do, if he's going to have a pep talk for John. He's pointing out to, that'll end the evening for John Gray.
Hey, great outing for John Gray. That's 3 in a row since coming back from Albuquerque. He walks off the Busch Stadium mound, 7 1/3 innings, 92 pitches. And some good Rockies fans on hand here in St. Louis, doing as they should, giving him a standing ovation. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Another large crowd inside Busch Stadium, and they watch John Gray dominate their Cardinals tonight. And in the 8th inning, they've gotten a little traffic against him with 1 out. A single, a walk, a strikeout, and then a single by Jairo Munoz. So John's been removed in favor of Sungwon Oh. Threw a strong inning last night against his former employers. And now with one out, the Rockies up 6-1. Matt Carpenter, home run in the first, strikeout, line out, will step up. And this is about the only opportunity save that trot around the bases by Carpenter for the Cardinals fans to get to the edge of their seat and hope that St. Louis can get back in this ball game. O'Neill at third, Dexter Fowler at second, and Munoz is at first. Oh, against his former teammate. And strike one. This may be a position where the Rockies, Jake threw last night, was in a better place. You'd see that situational lefty to face Matt Carpenter. Harrison Musgrave was an option. Swung on and missed, 0-2. We're talking about Tyler O'Neill and how strong he is, how strong his dad is. Tell you what, O is put together.
O is put together. But you're right, Drew. I mean, looking at O's splits on the season, he has not fared well against lefties.
This ball's in the air to Parra. He'll make the catch. Tagging is O'Neill. He'll come home. And the Rockies will gladly trade a run for an out. So now it's 6-2. So Carpenter's driven in both tonight. He has 57 ribbies on the season, and that'll bring up Yadier Molina. Molina 0 for 5 last night, 0 for 3 tonight. Best contact came in the 4th inning. Hit a deep drive to left center field that Charlie made a nice running catch on. And then he hit a fly ball down the right field line in that corner on the warning track. It was never a threat to go out. But Cargo made a spectacular running, sliding catch to Rob Molina. Oh, that goes to the backstop. Comes back, chance to get a runner at third, and that's going to cost the Rockies a run now. Fowler will score at 6-3. Well, I hate the pitchback effect. That time the Rockies were trying to catch the same break that St. Louis caught last night, but the throw was a little offline from Murphy.
Looks like a cross-up of Tom Murphy. And it does, it comes right back to him, but it's very difficult for a catcher to make that play. A little bit of a double pump, and for Nolan, hard with the backhand. You're still trying to make a tag. Well, this inning has turned into a sloppy inning for the Rockies with a walk. And now that error that scores Dexter.
It'll be a wild pitch initially on O. And then an error on the throw by Murphy. Now you got to get Molina because the 4th run is standing at second base in Munoz. And Munoz runs pretty well. Hard shot, but it's going to be gloved by McMahon. In the inning, a couple of runs for St. Louis. We'll go to the 9th, Colorado 6. And the Cardinals 3. Great night for John Gray. It is pronounced Myers. And this will be his 32nd appearance. The Rockies will have the top of the order. Chuck Nasty, Ian Desmond, Nolan Arenado.
Another hard thrower coming out of the bullpen for the Cardinals. Myers' fastball averages 96 miles an hour. Will throw a changeup and slider that comes off of that pitch. The slider is his best secondary pitch.
And the first pitch is in there at 96 for a strike. Charlie tonight with the Rockies trailing in the 5th inning and 2 outs, 1-0. Hit a 412-foot home run to right center with a man aboard. And the Rockies would add on. They got the 2 runs in the 5th on Chuck's 21st home run. The next inning they would add a couple of runs. Got 2 more in the 7th on a 2-run home run by Cargo. 6 runs, 8 hits and an error for the Rockies. 3 runs, just 4 hits allowed. The line for St. Louis. St. Louis without an error tonight. They made 3 last night. Ground ball toward the hole and out at first base. Good play by Munoz. Steals a hit from Charlie. Well, check out these numbers for John Gray. He'd been up and down this year, then was sent to Albuquerque. And his .577 ERA, one of the reasons why, naturally. Since he's come back, 3 terrific starts, at least 7 innings in each of them. Tonight, for the 3rd time in his career, he went 7 1/3. He does have a complete game under his belt, but a 1.25 ERA since coming back. You remember John earlier this year, 7 times he had pitched in a game where he allowed at least 5 runs. Then there was the other side, the good John. 7 times he had allowed 1 run or less. There wasn't a lot in between, though.
John still ranks in the top 10 in baseball with his strikeout to walk ratio. And even if you start looking at some other websites for some advanced metrics, we were talking about his WAR values because he doesn't walk a lot. And he was ranking near the top in National League starters in those values. ERA does not always tell the story, neither does wins and losses.
Boy, Munoz got caught. For some reason, he
misread the swing.
Yeah, he was taking a stride the other direction on the pitch. And he got wrong-footed. The ball,
yeah, he reads the pitch.
Goes under his glove. A base hit for Desmond.
Oh, that's interesting. You just steal a hit away from Charlie Blackmon on a very difficult play. And then on what should be a routine ground ball to you, played into a hit.
Nolan, an infield hit in the 4th inning on a ball to deep short. 1 for 4. And he takes strike 1. Wade Davis getting ready to handle the bottom of the 9th for Colorado. Desi at first base. He had the hitting streak snapped last night, but he walked 3 times. And tonight, with that hit, he's now reached it 15 in a row.
See if Desi takes a chance on Yadier Molina with 2 strikes. Try to get to second base. But you're pretty much in scoring position with the next 2 hitters with Nolan, Cargo, even Trevor Story, if you're standing at first.
Yeah, I don't see it here. got a pretty conservative lead also. Not going. That was blocked by Molina. 2-2. Rockies last 33 games, 23-10, which is the best mark over the last 5 weeks in the National League. And this is going to be a double play. So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies 6 and the Cardinals 3. Wade Davis will try to close it out. For 7 or more in a game. So Wade Davis looking for 3 more outs. Wade not utilized last night. He'll face Paul DeYoung, Marcell Ozuna, and Jed Jerko in the 9th. And it is a save situation, being a 3-run ball game. And for Davis, his last couple of saves, 1, 2, 3 saves, as he looks for save number 31 tonight.
Going to go through the teeth of the Cardinals lineup. It's important, especially just given how the game has swung in the last really half inning, over the last inning, with the 2 runs scored in the bottom of the 8th. The Cardinals, as you mentioned earlier, 8 walk-off wins, tied for the Major League lead. Don't give them any more confidence. Don't give them any sort of feel that they can get back in this game. Walks have turned around to bite the Rockies over the last couple losses that they have suffered.
Fastball for strike 1. DeYoung 0 for 3 tonight, including a 7th inning strikeout against John Gray. Well hit right center field. Cargo drifted back. He's got room, and that's the first out in the 9th inning. John Gray, 7 1/3, 3 runs, 2 earned, 4 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. John's in line for his 9th victory. Tomorrow, it'll be Kyle Freeland looking for his 10th victory of the year, and he'll be opposed by Luke Weaver. Has a 4.70 ERA. We're on the air with the pregame show at 5:30 in the Mountain Time Zone tomorrow. Jenny and Huey will have that. 1 out. Here's Marcell Ozuna. And that's a strike. That's nasty. 0-2. Here's the 0-2 on Osuna. See you later. That was quick. 2 outs. I think the last couple of outings, and now this one included in Philly, Davis, kind of like the rotation's been doing, haven't been too many upside down counts. And Wade had gotten into that situation a little bit. Deep counts, some walks. It's been strike 1, strike 2, ball in play, out. Give me another hitter.
That's how you want it, especially on the defensive side. You want to see your closer come straight after hitters. Here's my stuff. Put it in play if you can.
This should end the ball game. Cargo has his glove out. He's got it. That was quick. 1, 2, 3 in the ninth. The Rockies can shake hands. They have defeated the Cardinals tonight 6-3. They end a 6-game slide at Busch Stadium. They move 10 games north of 500 again. The quick scores. Milwaukee's leading the Dodgers right now 1-0. It's early though, 4th inning. And Arizona has a 5-0 lead in their ball game. But most importantly, the Rockies win and they finish off one of the best months in franchise history. They go 17-6 in the month of July.